I'd like to talk about a healthy way to view and handle your failures. It's not your failures, I should say the failures. First of all, we need to understand that there's always a lesson to be learned behind every failure. Don't overlook it and don't dismiss it. If you do, you may be doomed to repeat it. Take the time to analyze and meditate on the failure's lesson and ask yourself, what did it teach me? Or what was it trying to teach me? Don't keep going in the same exact direction when a failure occurs. As any inventor or scientist will tell you, sometimes one step to the left or one step to the right, or even sometimes one step backwards, can make the difference between success or a repeat failure. Whatever you do, don't stay in the same spot the failure left you in. Move, or you can become paralyzed by fear. Failure is urging you to make a change in your thinking, your actions, or both. Therefore, you should make any necessary adjustments to your thinking, truthfully analyzing where things went wrong, with no excuses and without the blame game. Those two things, excuses and the blame game, will not get you anywhere. They will not change what happened. Bill Gates has a quote here. Bill Gates, of course, is the developer of the Microsoft programs. He says it's fine to celebrate success, but it's more important to heed the lessons of failure. To continue when a failure occurs, you should look as far down the road as you possibly can see, staying focused on the intended outcome you want to achieve. In other words, start planning your next steps with the end in mind as your beginning place. This is a partial quote by another leadership guru by the name of Stephen Covey. He says, start with the end in mind. So you should start planning your next steps after a failure with the end in mind as your beginning place. And this will help you to stay on track as you move along. You should then recover any pieces that are still usable from your original failed plan or idea and design a new plan of action. And then implement the new plan when it's appropriate to do so, remembering that time is a very important factor, and sometimes it has a very short window in which to act. Also, keep in mind that we don't necessarily have to experience our own failures to learn their lessons. We can learn from other people's failures. We can study other people who have gone through a failure, who succeeded in going through a failure, I should say, who pushed through it and came out a better, stronger, more successful person because of the failure. Case in point, a man named Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a professional basketball player, and he went through a devastating failure. He was kicked off for the junior varsity basketball team in school. And he was so devastated by that failure that he went home and he spent the entire summer vacation just practicing basketball. And when he went back, he was on top of his game, and the rest is history. He became a professional basketball player. He was the captain of his team. He won many championships. And I believe that Michael learned the secret that summer, that he practiced that basketball until he got it right. This is his quote. I got it from an ad that Michael did, because after he finished playing basketball as a professional basketball player, he's now a businessman, and he did several advertisements on TV. And one of the advertisements that he did caught my eye, and I thought it was a very important one and appropriate. Michael says that I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. And on 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take that game winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. I believe Michael learned a very important secret that every time you fail, you're going to gain another clue. You're going to gain another piece of information that's going to bring you closer to success. Think about it. Every time he played a game, he learned about his distance from the basket and what it would take for him to make those great 3-point shots that he used to make. Also, he had to learn about his other players, what their strengths were, who could support him. Because he was the captain of the team, he had to know everybody's strengths and weaknesses. He also had to learn and study the other players on all the other teams that he played against. And all of this information, he gathered this information together and he used it to his best ability. And I believe this is why Michael was such a success.